This is Mr. Thompson again, and I'm going to do one more equation editor video tonight before I call it a day. One thing that's very useful in equation editor, or what that you need to do, which is a lot of people don't know how to do, is how to align equal signs. Now, we're forever telling our students that they need to have their equal signs aligned underneath each other, so in a vertical column. Now, as you can see, I've solved a little equation here, and my equal signs aren't underneath each other. And what's worse is if I try to do things like if I try to put space bars in here, if I try to space that, it does all sort of weird things. So so how do I do that? How do I align the equal signs? So let's have a look. The first thing we've got to do is, what I've done here is I've actually created 4 separate equations. Now that's my first problem. What I need to do is I need to create one paragraph with all the equations in it. So let me get rid of those ones there. I'll put them down there. So let's start with the first one. Okay. Now in Word, if you want to go to a new line without starting a new paragraph, then the way you do that is Shift Enter. Now in Equation Editor, it's the same thing. If I want to go to a new line without actually starting a new paragraph, I'm going to go Shift Enter. So Shift Enter. So that takes me to a new line, and it looks like a new equation, but it's not. It's actually part of the same equation, just on a different line. Now that's an important distinction, and I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, so my next step, let's go 3x squared equals 48. So I've subtracted 7 from both sides. Again, I'm going to go Shift Enter, not just Enter, but Shift Enter. Now I'm going to say, therefore, x squared equals 16. I've divided both sides by 3. Shift Enter again. Shift Enter again. And now I've got x equals the square root of 16, which is 4. And you're thinking to yourself, well, what good was that? What good did that do? All that did was lined up the front of each of the equations. So that still didn't help. We still want the equal signs all aligned. Okay, but here's what we can do. Now that we've put all of those equations, now they're all one equation or one multi-line equation, what I can do is I can right click. So I'm just going to right click in front of this equal sign. I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to say align at this character. And it does absolutely nothing, but that's okay. It'll do something in a minute, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to each line, and I'm going to do the same thing. Click here, right click, align at this character. Now we can see that Equation Editor has aligned both of those two equations, and the equal signs have been aligned together. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to click just to the left of the equal sign, and I'm going to align at this character, and here align at this character. There we go. Now I've got my equal signs all nice and equally spaced. Now sometimes that doesn't work quite so well because it looks all a bit jammed up. If I wanted to put a bit more space in there, I can do that. So if I select that whole multi-line equation, and if I go to paragraph, so I'm on the home menu, if I go to paragraph and I click that little arrow there, brings up the paragraph menu, and I can adjust my line spacing. So I can make that, I want to make it 1.5 space. There we go, that's beautiful. Now I've got my equal signs lined up vertically under each other by doing the right click align at this character. And I've spaced my paragraph at 1.5 spacing, so I've got more space. That's a much nicer looking solution, isn't it? That's the end of this video. I hope that's useful.